Be contented with yesterday's memories, knowing you'll think of me once in a while, once in a while.
We learned today that the jazz singer Ella Fitzgerald, now almost 76, has had both legs amputated below the knee because of complications from diabetes. The operation was sometime last year, but only disclosed today. Miss Fitzgerald is said to be recovering well.
She'd sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, her niece told me, and say, we've got to get ready, get Pete. Well, Pete had died already. It's time, we've got to get to Cincinnati, or we've got to get to Chicago. And finally they would quiet her down by saying, well, Ella, the concert's next week. And that would quiet her down. So she always had this in her mind that she was going to continue to sing. And that was her way of dealing with it.
On June 15th, 1996, Ella Fitzgerald died.
I don't know whether I was relieved or what. In a way, I think I was. And in another way, she was gone. But I felt that if she was free of all of this, and that's the only thing she could do, then I'd rather see her in another place. It's a much better place.
Her son arranged the entire funeral. I was in the family car, and I said, you know, everybody was kind of weepy, and I said, well, one thing I want to tell you. Ella was here right now. She loved the whole idea. She loved to stop traffic. She said if she got dressed up sometime, and she said, I said, how'd you look, Ella? She said, I stopped traffic. I said, could you imagine? They stopped the traffic on the freeway for the funeral procession to go through. Ella would have loved that.
We want to leave you happy, don't want to leave you sad. We want to leave you happy, don't want to leave you sad. We want to sing some blues, but don't want to sing them bad. Roy wailed for you, he wailed the blues tonight. Roy wailed for you, he wailed the blues tonight. He wailed them just right. He talked
Hello again. Ella Fitzgerald was 78 years old when she passed away. Even after 60 years of performing, she still captivated new audiences. How good was she? Well, for 18 consecutive years, she was voted Best Female Singer in the Downbeat Magazine Readers' Poll. The name Ella Fitzgerald remains synonymous with jazz. She is indeed very missed. I'm Paul Anthony with Doris McMillan.
You know, that was quite a program, and I hope you learned something new about Ella Fitzgerald. Her life was filled with sadness, yet she gave so much joy to so many people.
She sure did. If Ella affected you in a special way, we want you to go to the phone and call in to show your support right now. We love hearing from her fans. I hope you'll make a pledge when you call too, and this is your last chance to request one of our Ella Fitzgerald thank you gifts.
You know, of Ella Fitzgerald, Lena Horne said, "She is our treasure. We're proud of her. We love her." Composer Quincy Jones said that Ella Fitzgerald was a major influence not only on his career, but on American music. You know, it's been a great evening dedicated to Ella Fitzgerald. We hope you'll join in this final celebration. Please do it by making a pledge of support.
And when you make a membership pledge of $75, we'll send you Ella Fitzgerald's The Best of the Songbooks CD or audio cassette. It includes songs like Our Love Is Here to Stay, Something's Gotta Give, The Lady Is a Tramp, Swonderful, Hooray for Love, and many more. 16 selections in all, and Ella is in top form on all of them. It's a recording you'll want for those traffic jams or long rides in the country. So call now.
The video of this American Master Special is also available on your own piece of American musical history when you join as a $100 member. Now, this video highlights the life behind the music, Ella's struggles and her triumphs. It's a moving piece of filmmaking and genuine tribute to a remarkable woman, and it will be yours for a $100 pledge of membership.
Before we go a step further, let me tell you why we are really here. It's not to sell you videos or cassettes or CDs. This is non-commercial public TV. We don't receive advertising dollars to pay for the programs you watch. Instead, we invite viewers to become members, and their donations are the fuel for an entire season of television excellence. You can help us continue this tradition of high-quality TV. All it takes is a phone call and a pledge of your support.
The deepest mysteries of nature, the greatest songs ever sung, the finest drama on stage and screen. They're all right here on public television, thanks to our members. It's easy to join. Just make a 2-minute call to the number on your screen and choose your membership level. For your convenience, you can use your Visa or MasterCard, or you can ask for an invoice. But don't wait. Pick up the phone now and support television at its best.
Well, in the final segment of the program, we saw how Ella Fitzgerald took responsibility for supporting her entire family. She knew the importance of giving back, and I hope you'll take a moment to give back a little something to public TV. You know, we bring you programs that make a difference in your life, programs that entertain you and enrich your day, and all we ask in return is that you become a supporting member of public television. Join us now. It only takes 2 minutes of your time and a few dollars from your pocket. Call the number on the screen. Our operators are waiting to hear from you.
We'll see another musical clip from the American Masters Special in just a minute, so don't despair. There is more Ella yet to come. How much impact did Ella Fitzgerald have in the American music scene? In Downbeat, her biography starts like this. Few artists stand as the very definition of the art they practice, but Ella Fitzgerald is one of them. No jazz singer can avoid being influenced by her, or at least taking into account the monument of her work. Wow, that's a great opening line, isn't it? That is why we've come together tonight, to honor a great lady. I hope you'll make the phone call that makes our tribute complete tonight. Our number is on the screen, so please call us now.
You know, if you tried to call but couldn't get through, just write the number down and try again a little bit later. Sometimes our operators get real busy. That's good news. I mean, it seems like we aren't interested in your call. That's not true. Believe me, we are. Every dollar helps us bring you the best shows in town. Now remember, the Ella Fitzgerald CD or audio cassette is yours when you make a $75 membership pledge. We'd also love to send you the video of this wonderful program when you pledge $100 or more. And finally, the combo. Our most popular gift is yours with our gratitude when you join as a $150 member. But to us, every pledge is important, and if you prefer to give $30 or $60, we appreciate your gesture very much. No pledge is too small. Your involvement in non-commercial television is, after all, what we're after.
Involvement is true. We're running out of time, but we'll give you this one last look at Ella before we go, so enjoy the music.
Just you alone filled me with ours, wonderful, marvelous. You should care for me, so nice, paradise is what I love to see. You've made my life so glamorous. You can't blame me for feeling amorous. Oh.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition tonight, Wednesday night edition of the WQED Doo-Wop Shop. And we're going to expand just a little beyond doo-wop tonight to talk about some great music. I've got some guys here that I have been dying to work with for different reasons. Charlie Apple is joining us. Of course, Charlie is a friend and a partner here on our very first doo-wop special that we did right in the studio. This is, what, about 2 years ago now, right?
Oh, it has to be 2 now, yeah.
Right. So, Charlie, you were part of the magic. You were here way back in the beginning.
When your vision came through.
Well, our vision. This was a bird thing. This is what you call a bird thing. And then there's somebody else who's joining us here tonight. And this guy is very special to me for a lot of reasons. When I first heard him, I didn't like him. I didn't like him. But then, when I started listening to his show every day, driving me home, I fell in love with him because we have so much in common. Number one, we're both from New Jersey. Number two, we both have the same taste, similar taste in music, pretty much. Although he's a little newer and hipper than I am. I kind of stop around 1965 or so. At least Doug knows the newest stuff. But in addition to that, like all the same movies and the same shows. In fact, I was going to bring him some Bewitched tapes tonight. Just
the dueling Darrens.
Doug Hearth
By the way, who was your favorite Darren?
Dick York.
Dick York.
Is there any
Not
other
even
Dick
close,
York?
not even
Is that right? He's the best, right? He's right.
You got it.
Okay, so we're here tonight.
Hey, but he didn't like you when he first heard you either. So
I know.
I didn't like either one of you when I first heard either one of us. And here I am working with you.
And I love.
Now, he has to sing tonight because that's what he got on both of us.
That's
right. He has to sing tonight.
That's right. 6215808.
Now, we're going to have fun. The whole goal here tonight is to introduce a show to you. And the reason I wanted, and specifically these guys, is because the one thing that we all share here, and you share it with us, of course you share it with us here on QED, is our passion and our love for the music. However, we tend to skew a lot more R&B, I think, than the mainstream sort of poppy stuff. But there's something to be said for the pop stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say it on TV. Oh, no, you're right. There is.
Well, say it.
Actually, I don't know what experience you came from, Doug. You originally, but I started with pop stuff. I mean, that's what I first started to listen to, and of course, then moved into R&B, and that's what I like most now. But this stuff still has a place in my history. There's no question about that.
Yeah. What is the one record that you bought as a child that you are embarrassed as an adult to admit that you bought?
Memories Are Made of This by Dean Martin.
No, that was a good record.
It was a good record, but I'm embarrassed by it.
I actually bought Turn Me Loose by Fabian.
Wow.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, me loose.
Turn me
loose, I say.
Turn me loose. I'm not going to do that.
He sang.
You got it.
That's a good Stroll record, though. I love to stroll to that tune. But he had some bad stuff. Hound Dog Man?
Hound Dog Man.
Oh my God, Hound Dog Man.
Hound Dog Man.
Anyway, we are going to be here. Can we just give it another minute, fellas, before we go? Because I don't want to just end with these guys just yet. We are here tonight to present a very special show to you. And of anybody in all of Pittsburgh to work with, I had to come to these guys because these guys know better than anybody the sound of Pittsburgh, the sound that we love, the R&B sound, but also the merits of some of the pop stuff. And the show we're about to present to you is something you're only going to see on QED tonight. I had to make very special arrangements with the producer. It aired on cable television once and only once. It won't air again because there's a lot of contractual things with the music going. And especially for cable, it's different than PBS. We have different arrangements. So the show that we're about to show you kind of incorporates what I would call the legends, the people that had the good times, the bad times, the hard times, the fun times, people that are still doing it, people that can sing, people that love the music. people that have been struck by tragedy. I don't know how else to describe the show because I've never seen a show where you have somebody like Otis Williams of the Charms.
And Joni Summer.
With Tommy Rowe.
And Maurice Williams. And Jewel Aiken. When you first approached me about this and told me the people that were on the tape, and a friend of mine had already seen it, I said, you got to be kidding. But when I watched it, look, I bought Carl Dopkins Jr. in my heart.
It's a good song.
And they've got these really weird, off-the-wall people in addition to the Dee Dee Sharps and the Maurice Williamses of the world. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I really enjoyed it.
I also like the format. I think people will enjoy the format, the kind of living room format style of this. You know, and then I wrote. Kind of thing, you know. I think it's very, very clever.
There's something to be said for the show that you're about to see, because I've never seen a show like this ever done before, where you have so many people, so many talented people. I never thought in my lifetime I would see Maurice Williams with Dave Somerville of the Diamonds. I mean, that right there is reason to watch this show. We ask you to reserve your opinion on a couple of these groups right away because there's a lot of stories that are being told, and we're going to be here with the two legends of Pittsburgh to tell you more about it. Stay with us as we get into Rock and Roll Graffiti right now on QED. Take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Clanton.
Just a dream, just a dream. All our plans and all our schemes. How could I think you'd be mine? Those lies I tell myself each time. I know that we could never last. You just can't seem to end the past. Just a dream I dreamed in vain. Have I only live in pain? Your picture is always with me. I can still hear that same mournful song. And now I sit here crying. Please leave me alone. Oh, why do I love you?
Sing it, baby, sing it.
How can I live in misery? I know that I won't forget you. But now I know it's too late for me. Your picture is always with me. I can still hear that same mournful song. And now I sit here crying. Please leave me alone. Oh, why do I love you? How can I live in misery? I know that I won't forget you. I hope it's not too late for me. Oh, yeah. Thank y'all.
Jimmy Clanton.
Go ahead.
Whoa.
I tried to tell Jimmy how much I loved that song. For me, I was like 12 years old when it came out, and it was like the beginning of feeling growing up and not being understood and wanting to fall in love but being too young. And when he sang that song just now, it was like my grandmother was still alive, I was still young, and just all the feelings. You have no idea how much this song just meant to me. And I never dreamed that when I was 17 that I would tour with him, because I was just this little girl in New York City loving Jimmy Clanton. and I got to do 30 days with Jimmy Clanton on a tour or something, you know. But now, I mean, it's the same thing. I love it. I love you.
Now you know why they thought
You know what Jimmy? You know what Jimmy was talking about?
Jay. Well, I just got to tell you, Jimmy, I never liked you. Song didn't mean nothing to me. But now that I met you, I changed. You're all right.
That's good. Tonight, we'll visit with the hitmakers of the 50s and 60s. 36 performers that created the music of a lifetime. It was the music you dated to, the music you fell in and out of love to, the music they played at the sock hop, the music of an era. It was and is your music. Welcome to Rock and Roll Graffiti. Frankie Ford.
And you know, I know everybody in this room is going to know what I'm talking about. These little groups come out today and they go, this next record we had sold 3 million records. We'd like to sing it for you right now. And it goes something like this. Well, this record did sell a heck of a lot of records, and I'm gonna tell you, we recorded it. It don't go something like this. It goes exactly like this. Old me and the rhythm is in my shoe. No use to sitting and singing the blues. So be my guest, you got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Feel like jumping, baby, won't you join me, please? I don't like digging, but now I'm on digging me. Got to get to moving, baby, I ain't lying. Heart is beating rhythm in its own time. Be my guest, you got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Say ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? To get to rock and get my hat off the rack. I got to boogie woogie like a knife in the back. So beat my head, you got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Say ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Feel like jumping, baby, won't you join me, please? I don't like digging. I'm on bending knees. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise?
Yes, sirree. Yes, sir.
Did you ever think about going into show business?
I got enough practice.
Otis Williams.
Now, you probably have the earliest song of this whole group.
Probably.
What year was that out?
53.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you do that for us?
Which one?
Hearts of Stone?
Sure.
Would you? Otis Williams. Yeah.
Give me a little help here. We're going to clap some hands and make a little noise and holler and scream a little bit. Hearts made of stone will never break. For the love you have for them, they just won't take. You can't ask them, please. Please, please, please. And all your love, baby, is their attitude. There's a heart of stone will cause you pain. For the love you have for them,
Dave Somerville of the Diamonds, Carl Gardner of the Coasters, and Dee Dee Sharp.
Wow.
Oh,
Do
man.
you believe that?
Well, I tell you, the thing that impressed me is how all of those folks gathered around there are all into each other's songs. I mean, even though they came out of different backgrounds, different traditions, they're into the songs, they are supporting each other. There's a real camaraderie in that.
And there's something to be said for this kind of collection of people. Very eclectic group. I mean,
Yeah,
people
extremely.
like Tommy Rowe, not one of my favorites, I got to be honest with you, Pittsburgh.
Nor mine.
But to see Tommy Rowe, who did have those hits, with people like Kenny Lester, I mean, my God.
Well, you know, there was interesting that there were two ace artists on there, and both of them had hits, but most people don't realize that they were two Euro-American guys who were singing rhythm and blues. Because Jimmy Clanton, they kept telling Jimmy, we want you to sound more like Frankie Avalon. And he said, I'm not a pop white star. I mean, he told them, he said, I'm not going to sing like that.
Yeah.
And he came out of the swamp singing tradition much more than he did out of the pop tradition.
And you're talking about Frankie Ford is the other guy.
The other guy's Frankie Ford, who is one of the most talented guys that's still performing today.
You know what I said to him when I met him, Doug? You would appreciate this. I said to Frankie Ford, we interviewed him for one of those pork stock shows, one of those shows, and he lost his career in a big way when Huey Piano Smith had asked him to join him on the road and play piano. So as soon as I saw him, I went up to him and I said, he said, oh no, another wise guy.
Didn't he sing that over the Huey Smith track? Is that
Sea
the deal
Cruise
on it?
was over. There is a version out on a CD with Huey Smith doing the lead, but they dubbed Frankie Ford over the top of it. Right? Yeah. Right.
All right, what do you say we tell people why we're here tonight?
Why are we here tonight, TJ?
This is a special edition of the Doo-Wop Shop. This show, to me, I saw this one time only, aired on cable, and it just seems so important that we bring this to you tonight, Pittsburgh, because the stories that are on this, the performances that are on this, they're never going to be available again. We can only get the rights to show you this for this December pledge drive, and then it goes away. It's because of the musical clearances of all the people that are involved and all the publishers. This is a real example of how we were able to take all the support we've gotten for doo-wop programming and our special, like Bobby Darin specials and our Roy Orbison specials, pulled that all together to be able to make a deal with the company that produced this, to be able to buy this show and to show it to you tonight, and also to allow you to take part in the thank you gifts. As always, you know, it's membership support that makes it possible for us. And this is what we want to tell you about.
This is a double CD set.
They have a double CD set, which is all the music from the program, and we'll talk about that in a minute or so. This is $100, your pledge of support, and it's got basically 50 songs, and they're all the recordings from the show, and some things on here that you can't find, like Frankie Ford's version of Gone, which is great.
Which blows people away.
Yeah.
I never realized what a set of pipes this guy really
He
has.
has pipes like I can't believe.
I mean, it was good. But what we really want to tell you about right now is what you're about to see, and this is the 5-video collection. I don't think there's ever been anything like this. And when you talk about a great value, number one, you cannot buy these in stores. You will not be able to buy these in stores. They're not available in stores, and they're not going to be on cable television again. They are only here on WQED, and then the show goes away. And if you want this piece of history, you have to make a choice right now to join us as a member. $150. I know it's around the holiday time. You're thinking, oh, geez, now they're asking for more money. I already supported them with the doo-wop stuff and the box sets. Believe me, this is worth the investment when you look at this program, all the performances, over 54 songs in total, but the stories, and Doug, you saw these tapes. What do you think?
I enjoyed the Living Daylights out of it. I don't know what we're going to be seeing tonight. You're going to be seeing bits and pieces, but Dee Dee Sharp, I didn't know that this girl has her PhD in clinical psychology. She's Dr. Dee Dee Sharp. Those 16-year-old kids singing Mashed Potato Town. Sings the daylights out of it, and again, what's going to be on tonight, I'm not sure. Does a version of Stand By Me and goes gospel for about 5 minutes. This girl sounds like Aretha Franklin. I was amazed.
Dr. Dee Dee.
You got that right.
Well, the other thing is that Gone by Frankie Ford.
Great
we
stuff.
had a chance in Pittsburgh to see that when he did it at the Roots of Rock and Roll show, and also at the Big Thing for Porky Chedwick. And it really knocked everybody apart, and this is the only place you can get it.
I want to read some of the songs that are on here. Again, your pledge of support, $150, and time is running out. We do not have a lot of time to tell you about this tonight, and after tonight, it's gone. You're not going to have another chance, no pun intended, to get a hold of these tapes. When you join us as a member, 621-5808 or 1-800-232-8813. Some of the songs on here, I'm going to try to cherry pick the ones I think we all like. Of course, Sea Cruise by Frankie Ford. Gene Hughes does a cute little version of Stagger Lee in here. Venus and Blue Jeans, another great song. Jimmy Clanton. Clanton. Mary Wilson doing Come See About Me and Stop at the Name of Love. A lot more soul than I think Diana had.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, different song.
Some great things in here. When you go through this, again, you're talking 5 videotapes. Tequila by Dave Burgess, who was with the Champs. Maurice Williams doing Stay. One of the best things I've seen is Maurice Williams playing piano for Dave Somerville on Little Darlin'.
Well, not only that, but it's worth getting the tapes just to see Dave Somerville say, "I owe my whole career to Maurice Williams."
Unbelievable.
I mean, that was really very, very poignant, because that is so true in the whole business. How many people owe their career to someone who started it all, and it's right there on this tape. It's great.
And we honestly we've already. I mean, I think everybody always thinks of that example of Little Darlin', and everybody, you know, everybody who knows this music.
No offense, Charlie, the best cover version ever was Little Darlin', better than the original.
I disagree with you. I don't think it was
no,
but we could get into an argument about that.
No, we should, because the beginning of that song sounded like what, Warped 45 or something.
It's terrible. The Dinah's version is better produced. Somerville's is better.
Forget the
Get rid of this
production.
guy.
It's the sound of Excello Records. It was a tremendous
It's the sound
small
of basements.
combo. That's right. It's where rock and roll came from, and too often what we do is we forget that it came from what we would call in the 60s or 70s garage
Are you
band.
honestly telling me?
These
wait,
guys
Charlie,
were kids
Charlie,
who worked together.
Charlie.
In achieving a sound that nobody else
Are you
could do.
trying to tell me that you would rather dance to the Gladiolas version of Little Darlin' than the Diamonds?
I'm not talking about dance. I'm talking about listen. The song is more soulful and has more reality to it, done by Maurice Williams.
I would agree with you on just about every cover version, because all they did was the exact same arrangement, exact same this, exact same that, except there was a white artist as opposed to an African-American artist. In this particular case, it's an entirely different production. I think it's a lot cleaner, a lot crisper, and the original, hey, Rosie in the original's Angel Baby, she sings more more off-key notes than on-key. That's part of the fun of it. But Little Darlin' by the Gladiolas.
No. You're going to tell me then that you don't like the Hearts version of the Jules version, rather, of Hearts Made of Stone.
Now that's an example of raw, and I can see what you're saying.
I mean, when you listen to that, they're offbeat.
But you know what?
They're offbeat in that song, and that's a better version. I mean, I love Otis Williams, but it's still a better version.
But you know, even the Fontaine sisters didn't have a bad version of that song.
That's true.
I'm leaving.
It was not a bad version.
Yeah,
it was not a bad.
And the McGuire sisters were much better than the Moogles. And sincerely, Charlie, I want that.
I have been hoodwinked. I want you people to know I had no idea this was going to happen this way. I've been hoodwinked in this thing.
And Georgia Gibbs could sing the socks off of the Burn Baby.
That's it. Buy the tapes. Give them the money. I'm out of here.
All right, now with that thought in mind, we have got some great highlights of what you haven't seen tonight and what you're still going to see tonight. But I got to tell you, the phones are real silent right now, which tells us, Pittsburgh, you don't like this show. Now, we have gone...
Because they don't like Doug and me.
We've really taken a risk here by bringing this to you and also devoting this kind of time in our December membership campaign. Very important time for us. And by the way, we're going to talk to Doug Hearth more about this. For a guy who doesn't know much about public television, he's the strongest advocate of public television I've ever heard.
Now that he's on.
Every show that...
No.
Whether it's Ella Fitzgerald or whether it's William F. Buckley or whether it's Brit Combs.
God, you really do listen.
I told you I listen. I'm serious.
He listens to 12 radio stations at once.
I'm a major fan of Doug Hearth, and I'm so honored that he's here and Charlie's out. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you a clip right now of some bonus video that you'll have. And we got to get these phones ringing. So I'm going to take a walk over to the phones and try to encourage you some more with the thank you gifts. Right now, take a look at just some clips of some great things you'll see when you call us and join us so we can do more of this. That's what it's all about. We want to do more. We want to bring you more. We want to produce more. You want to see more local Pittsburgh doo-wops? Now's the time. Pick up the phone and call. Take a look at this tape.
The music of the 50s and 60s.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, Peggy, hit my Peggy Sue. Since you gotta go, oh, you better go now.
Just a dream, just a dream. All our plans and all our schemes.
Love letters straight from your
Patches, oh, what can I do?
Got a head, got hair, and a piece of bone that made a walking, talking honeycomb.
This time we're really breaking up.
Johnny get angry, Johnny get mad.
Look, look, my heart is an open book. Tequila!
Some of the greatest classic rock songs of all time.
Apple peaches, pumpkin pie. Who's not ready, holler.
Little GTO, you're really looking fine.
I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning. Oh, baby, rock and roll is here to stay, and it will never die. Yes, it was meant to be that way, though I don't know why.
You sang along with each song. Now you can relive those moments anytime you wish.
Bum, 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 bum. All the chapel bells were ringing.
Carl Gardner of the Coasters.
Young blood. Oh, young blood.
Dave Somerville of the Diamonds.
To the dollar. To the dollar.
Frankie Ford.
Since you've gone, let's say the moon.
What you haven't heard or seen tonight is the amazing love these folks have for each other. Some hadn't seen each other in 20 or 30 years, so what we have not been able to show you tonight was all the love in this room. The emotional stories of the tours, the bus rides, backstage antics. Stories that are rich with rock and roll history and show a side of the classic rock era that you always thought existed. But if you lived through this music, if you dated and fell in love while this music played on the car radio, if you cruised the parking lot of the hamburger stand or ever took a drive down Lover's Lane to watch the submarine races, you need these videos. It's like Nedra of the Ronettes said at the top of the show. When I hear these songs, it takes me back to a time when my grandmama was alive, I was young, and I didn't know what was ahead. We're all very lucky. Lucky to have lived during a time when music was born. It's the one music that all generations can enjoy, from young to old. That's why it's called classic rock and roll. If you haven't ordered yet, pick up the phone and call the 800 number.
It is classic rock and roll. It really is. And we have an opportunity tonight for you to preserve it and to own it. Your pledge of support by calling the number on your screen right now at 621-5808. And you're going to receive all 5 videos. Again, this is exclusive to WQED, and you will only find it on your screens tonight. I want to read some of the songs for you. Apple Peaches and Pumpkin Pie, another great little song there. Jay Proctor from Jay and the Techniques. You're going to get things on here like Hearts of Stone, Otis Williams and the Charms. Great little country song there by the Browns, The Three Bells. More Today Than Yesterday, great song by Pat Upton from The Spiral Staircase. Even some cute things like The Wonder of You, another great version there by Ray Peterson. 1, 2, 3, Len Barry, of course you know him from the Dovells, is on here. Dee Dee Sharp doing a rockin' version of Stand By Me is on here. Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay, Joe Terry from Danny and the Juniors. These are all original guys. Carl Gardner, of course the original lead singer, the founder of the Coasters, doing just an incredible version of Youngblood is on here. Come See About Me, Stop in the Name of Love. That's the great sound from Mary Wilson, taking over for Diana's parts there in the Supremes. What an unbelievable value this is, and it's only tonight. I cannot stress to you the importance that we hear from you tonight. This is what it's about. How many times have we brought you local doo-wop specials? Now we're seeing this phenomenon take over the country. The show that we shot here in Pittsburgh suddenly has become the #1 fundraising program of all time in the history of public television. production. And I'm getting ready now to start to do a doo-wop 51, getting ready to plan for that production. It will only happen when we have the funding from our members. It's funding from PBS, but it's also the funding from you that counts. And that's why I'm here tonight to ask for your pledge of support. You may not like all the artists on this show, but the magic moments that are in here, like Ketty Lester singing love letters, like Otis Williams and the Charms, that kind of music that you're seeing Otis Williams singing, Maurice Williams singing. This is something you need to have, and something I felt very strongly about trying to get for you. And if you think we did the right thing, I need to hear from you tonight. I need your love, and I need your pledge of support at 621-5808 or 1-800-232-8813. $150 brings you all 5 tapes. Now, if you could pledge $200, we'll include the 2 CD set. I want to read you some of the great songs that are on this compilation. And again, great stuff. $200, your pledge of support. You're going to have things like Rock and Roll is Here to Stay, The Birds and the Bees, Sugar Shack, Johnny Get Angry, Joni Summers, cute little song there, Just a Dream, Just a Dream, Under the Boardwalk, That'll Be the Day, Peggy Sue, Everlasting Love, Then You Could Tell Me Goodbye, Apple Peaches Pumpkin Pie, Hearts of Stone, The Three Bells, My Heart is an Open Book, The Wonder of You, More Today Than Yesterday, Think, 1, 2, 3, Little GTO, Mashed Potato Time, Stand By Me, Dizzy, Down in the Boondocks, Stay, Little Darlin', This Time, Love Letters, Tequila, Go Now, Stormy, Patches, Honeycomb, Blue Light, Gone, Sea Cruise, Staggerly, Venus and Blue Jeans, Be My Baby, Nedra Talley there, great song. I Know I Love You, Come See About Me, Stop in the Name of Love at the Hop. All great stuff, $200, your pledge of support. We're getting ready to show you some highlights now of one of the songs that is not in the show tonight, but it is exclusively on the home video when you join us as a member. We're going to show you this little tape now. This is Dee Dee Sharp. Now, funny story about this song, and we'll talk to Doug and Charlie about this. If you know the Motown song, Please Mr. Postman by the Marvelettes, the guys from Parkway Cameo loved that sound so much they wanted to copy it. So Dee Dee Sharp, who was a backup singer with Chubby Checker, happened to be doing a record called Slow Twist, comes in, and they copy the riff and they copy the beat. The song, of course, is Mashed Potato Time. Mashed Potato Time, Please Mr. Postman, same song. Let's show you a clip of Dee Dee Sharp doing the song. We are going to get ready to testify. We'll leave the phone number up so that we hear from you while the song is playing. Then we'll come back and talk to Doug and Charlie. We've got to get the phones ringing, though. It's 10:30 at night. It's the holiday season. We need to hear from you now. 621-5808, 1-800-232-8813. Take a look at Dee Dee Sharp only on the home video when you make a pledge.
2, 1,
Everybody put your hands together. Hey, yeah. Hey, oh, yeah.
Mashed potato started a long time ago. We had my girl, it's a lovely job. Your mama's dance, she's real
And the lights are shining tonight in the studio. Let me tell you
George
about
is
it.
doing the mashed potatoes, I think. And, you know, for a man of his high caliber position,
George is
he's an
looking good
amazing
tonight,
dancer.
huh?
He really
George,
is.
show us some of those
Show
mashed
that little
potatoes.
mashed potato.
Let's see
Mashed
those-
potato.
Come on, man. Let's see those mashed potatoes.
Whoa.
Look,
Oh, we got to get a
let's see
camera on those feet.
Where
Come
are
on.
those feet? Come on, Paul. Let's see those feet, man. Come on, George. All right.
Well, Dee Dee Sharp, seriously, what'd you say? She has her PhD in clinical
psychology.
She is a darn good-looking woman, and she's a tremendous performer even still. I mean, she really tore it up there.
Well, again, she does a version of Stand By Me that gets into gospel. She sounds like Aretha Franklin. I didn't realize. Well, she was 16 years old when she recorded Mashed Potato.
Yeah, exactly. But that alone is worth the price of admission on this tape, too,
Okay,
to see Dee Dee
$150.
Sharp.
Now, that's a 5-video set. Doug, what did you find in watching the stories of this tape?
Yeah, he got an advance copy. I have to go ad lib.
You saw a clip of Ketty Lester.
Yeah.
First of all, Ketty Lester tells this story. She's epileptic. And she was a semi-regular in Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
And she tells the story of talking to Michael Landon, and she says, I want you to know I'm an epileptic, and if I ever have a seizure on the set, and she proceeds to tell him what to do in case. She knows as soon as it gets this out of her mouth, she has an epileptic seizure. Now, the way I'm telling it is not terribly amusing. The way she tells it, she had the room in stitches. She sings love letters. Mary Wilson lost a son 4 or 5 years ago. She loved Love Letters because it was a song that was in her vocal range. Carl Gardner apparently knew Ketty Lester for a good number of years, and she has not performed in a good number of years.
Right.
If you saw this crying jag at the end, this was not staged.
They're all in tears.
These people were really taken by her and her story of her life, of her thing with Michael Landon, Little House on the Prairie. Jimmy Rogers tells a little bit of his story. Jimmy Rogers was beaten unconscious, very long, involved story, had brain damage, played in his head. He just about gets his voice back in shape, and he loses his voice. He cannot sing a whole heck of a lot above a whisper, worse than Branson, Missouri these days. The telling of that, and telling it without bitterness. Without bitterness, without rancor. I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty doggone bitter if some of those things happen to me.
Or feeling like they were hurt, right?
Yeah. Getting the feeling again, though, of this living room setting where they're around talking to each other, with each other, sharing with each other. It is worth having this. I'm a historian at heart. I like to know what people were going through, what their lives were like, and the support they seem to engender with each other. The community spirit, despite the fact that we've got the Browns out of a sort of a pop folk thing.
Don't knock the Browns.
I'm not knocking them. I liked it. I
Browns.
cried when I heard that song the first
All the
time.
chapel bells are
I
ringing.
cried. I'm admitting it. I cried.
Boom, boom, boom.
Anyway, out of all those disparate backgrounds, and they're all supporting each other, it's worth having just for that. You gotta
Kenny,
get it. I
Kenny
want
Lester,
one. Get my checkbook
We have a
out.
clip we want to show you of Ketty Lester right now, and if this doesn't make you go to the phones, then we better just close up. What are you going no for, friend? Oh, let's get that. Let's find that clip of Ketty Lester.
We gotta see
get that,
Ketty
We gotta
Lester.
get that clip.
Gotta see it.
We're gonna get this clip for you, Ketty Lester. We're gonna show you "Love Letters." It's called. I think it's it's cut 5. I think out there, guys. Anyway, so when this lady sang, Ketty Lester, and she did her thing, I have never seen such emotion. I saw her do this on Shindig, a videotape of Shindig, and that was when she was young. You know, she came out and she was in a beautiful dress, and it was one of those Shindig kind of sets. You know,
Oh,
with
yeah.
she was on a pillar or something like that.
Rising out of the earth.
And that song, I knew Elvis did or something, but when I saw her do it, I just fell in love with that song. And then to see her do it all these years later, knowing she hasn't performed, knowing it's on this videotape, knowing we need your pledge of support, but please think about this as you're watching
Let's
this
look
clip.
at the emotion in
And
this.
you know what, we'll ask our director Paul out there, is doing a great job tonight. Paul, if we can show people some still stores of the pledge thank you gifts as this tape is rolling, just a little bit, give you an idea as to what you get when you become a member. But most importantly, take a look at Ketty Lester right now.
Fantastic.
Love letter straight from your heart. Keep us so near while apart. I'm not alone. when I can have all the love you write. I memorize every line. And I kiss the name that you signed. And darling, then I'll read again right from the start. Love letter straight from your heart. I memorize every line. And I kiss the name that you signed. And darling, then I'll read again right from the start. Love letter straight from your heart.
Bravo.
Have you ever seen anything like that ever, George?
This is fabulous.
My
You know,
God.
I just got in late. I didn't
Hey,
really
Lester.
get to see the show. How are we doing tonight? by
Well,
the way?
you know, I'll tell you what, things are a little slow right now. We're surprised because this is such a great show. Now, this is on the home video, Yours for a Pledge of Support, $150, and you will have that version of Katie Lester. It is not going to be on cable television again. It is not in stores. We made special deals with the producer just to have it here for you tonight in the Berg. So if you love it, you got to call us. And we got some great news. Speaking of the holiday and the New Year.
Well, you know, we've had great news here the last couple of weeks with all our pledging and our doo-wop. But really, I think one of the great piece of news we got tonight was from the FCC. The FCC has really let us know this evening that they have approved our transaction, which transfers WQEX over to Cornerstone Television with Channel 40, and Paxton Communication now moves into the marketplace. And it's really great for us here at WQED. Because this will allow us now, it will allow us to start to position WQED as the sort of institution that we've always been undertaking here for the last 5 years, to move this institution to be a strong community resource. And as I said, TJ, we've had some great successes here in the last a couple of years, and your things that you're doing, things that Rick Seaback's doing.
Chris Fenimore,
but you know, we've been doing this, quite frankly, with really one arm tied behind our back and really almost like a ball and chain holding us down. But we've made great progress. But now you will see some great progress. Now with our new show coming up in January, a lot of great things coming on.
But you know what's so important, George, though, and we got to remind people that we need you now more than ever.
Actually, as I said, the turnaround is complete. There's no longer an excuse that the monies that you're sending here tonight will be going to someplace, will be going directly into programs. Oh, in this last 5 years, it's been going to. Now you know for sure that that's the case.
But I mean, this is something that we, you know, there's been some confusion out there. People don't necessarily understand. This is so important that you understand that this money just takes care of the past.
Absolutely right. Takes care of the past and positions us to really start to invest in product. But really, those dollars that we receive from
right now at the number on the screen
are the most important, because it will allow us now to go to the government officials at both state level and the federal level to say, and corporations and foundations say to them, we've got constituents out there that really are supporting us. Please help us. And that's what this will do. For this QEX, this sale is historic for us, and we're very, very happy. This is really caps
great
off
news because
great 99 for us.
It means we firmly are on a new road to just wonderful things,
right.
but we need you now more than ever. 621-5808, George Miles. Thank you.
Good to see you, man.
Oh, man.
Good to see you, brother.
What a boss. What a boss.
Take care.
Thank you, George Miles. And thank you. Let's go to the next segment of the show. We'll be back with Doug and Charlie. Important you call us tonight if you want to see more doo-wops. Let's go to it.
Dave Somerville.
Yes, my favorite little darling story here, if I may. A couple of returned Vietnam vets have told me that during the middle and late 60s, while the guys were over there fighting for us, when it got to be dusk, they would climb into the treetops to get away from the shooters and the animals on the ground that would do them harm. And when they got up there, as a kind of a musical password to anybody within earshot, they would sing. Play me that G-flat chord if you want to. La 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 la. Good. You know, you could tell there was an American in this tree, and if you were an American over there and you heard this guy, you would sing it back proudly. La 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 la. But if you sang yours and the answer came back, rah 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 rah, you could take a shot. So you want to save some lives here this afternoon? Here we go. All together. A couple of you are going to get shot here this afternoon. Boom, boom, down. Here we go. My darling, I need you. Go ahead. To call my own and never do wrong. To hold in mind your little hand. Go for it. I'll know too soon that all is so grand. Please hold my hand. My hand here up. I was wrong, but you could try to love me too. Well, that my lover last chance was just for you. Arthur, yes indeed. Thank you, Maurice.
Yes, sir. I always wanted to be a coaster myself. Dave Burgess.
There's been a lot of groups of champs sprout up all over the world. There was a group of chumps, and there was a group. We even had a group of chimps at one time. I don't know. They sprout up all over the place, but. Frankie and I have spent a lot of time together. I just want him to show his ring to everybody.
Oh, let's see the Frankie ring.
Come on, show us that ring. Look at that ring.
Look at the Frankie ring.
Now that's a champ for you.
It used to be a coffee table. It's got 2 C batteries and a mirror ball. And Fats Domino's fighting me for it.
We're going to get Carl to do a coasters thing here in a minute. But I got to tell you about we all grew up different. My father was an Assemblies of God pastor in Mobile, Alabama. And we, back then, we didn't go to movies. We didn't skate because that was like dancing on wheels. And we didn't dance. And we didn't put money in the jukebox because that was throwing money away. So I would get a quarter, and Dad's church was on Michigan Avenue in Mobile, Alabama, and just down the street was a putt-putt golf place that had a jukebox, turned up real loud. And I would go down there, and I'd never known the joy of sin. But that day I experienced the joy of sin. Walked up to that jukebox, and I wanted to play a Coaster song. And I kind of backed up to it and looked all around. I thought, this is what sin is, man. This is it, boy. I dropped that quarter in, and I hit that button 4 times real fast and went back down and sat on front of the church and steps and listened to the Coasters all the way down the street. And I've loved the Coasters ever since, man. Would you grace us with a song?
I'd love to. I saw her standing on the corner, a yellow ribbon in her hair. Could not keep myself from shouting. Look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Young blood. Oh, young blood. Young blood. I can't get you out of my mind. Well, took one look and I was fractured. Tried to walk but I was lame. Tried to talk but I just couldn't. Hey, what's your name?
What's your name?
What's your name?
What's your name?
Young blood. Oh, young blood. Young blood. Hey, girl, I can't get you out of my mind. Well, what crazy stuff. She looked so tough at the bar all the way home. Things went bad. I met her dad, he said,
Better leave my daughter alone.
well, I could not sleep a week for trying. Saw the rising of the sun. All night long my heart was crying. And you're the one.
You're the one.
Y'all the one.
You're the one.
Young blood. Oh, young blood. Young blood. Hey, girl, I can't get you out of my mind. Well, young blood. Oh, young blood. Young blood. I can't get you out of my mind. Well, young blood. Oh, young blood. Young blood. I can't get you out of my mind. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Dee Dee Sharp.
I heard you singing Stand By Me
Yes.
a moment ago. Would you do that?
Oh, I'd love to.
Do Stand By
That's
Me
like
for
one of
us,
my
'cause we can all
favorites.
sing along with that.
Yeah, that's one of the kinds of songs that I like to sing.
See? We'll give you a shot. All right.
Hey. Well, the night has come. Hey, and all I need is God, and the moon is the only light we see. Hey, baby, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed one tear, just as long as you stand. Stay by me. Come on, everybody. Hey, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Hey, stand by me. Stand by me. In the sky, hallelujah, we look up and surround down. Jesus. This is my testimony and my prayer. Thank you, Jesus. Lord knows I thank you for all of you folks out there. Amen. I thank you for you, Larry Black and Gene Hughes. I thank you for you too. And I know that the project that you're going to do right here and now is going to be all right. Hey, 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 thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, hey, stand by me. Hey, hey, stand by me. Thank you, Jesus. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Hey, 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 hey. Look on my face. Praise your name, Lord. It's come on me. It's come on me. It's come on me. It's come on me. Hey, hey. Thank you, Jesus. 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 Call on it. Call on it. Call on it. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
He's real.
He is. He is.
Ooh, I thank you.
I tell you what, I'm
Beautifully done.
glad he didn't teach her to dance. Thank you, Dee Dee. Oh, yeah. Man.
Would you mind doing that again with just a little more feeling?
I just want to know when you're going to sing Stand By Me.
Don't leave now. Stop in the name of love, and then you can tell me goodbye when we return.
Well, now, we just saw the incredible Dee Dee Sharp doing a gospel version.
But
So this should be yours to talk about.
Well, absolutely. And let's go back a little bit before that. Let's go back to the Ketty Lester thing, the Carl Gardner thing. You know, the stories of those people. Ketty Lester obviously is not well. I think you can tell from the tape she's a little weak.
Do you know what it was,
She's a little
Doug?
weak.
Cerebral palsy or something.
But she has a tremendous selling of that song when she sings. I think she steals the show. And I think the tears in Mary Wilson's eyes, the tears in Carl Gardner's eyes, and when Carl goes up afterwards and hugs her, this is what this is all about. And I think this piece of history that you have, I admit there's some of the performers here that aren't my favorite. Sandy Posey, whom Doug has never even heard of.
You don't like Sandy Posey?
You never even heard of her.
I love Sandy Posey. I have a picture of her in my wallet.
She's
Are you
almost
kidding?
as bad as Doug Stone.
I have her picture and your picture.
Her picture and my
I have a picture of the two of you together.
Yeah, with Maurice
Well,
Williams.
now, how about,
and the
did you see
Diamonds.
Dodie Stevens? How about Dodie Stevens?
She's nice looking. It's all going. But Carl Gardner, I mean, here's a man who was, as he said, suffering from throat cancer, inoperable.
Yes.
Given 6 months to live, and he's 6 years later, when this was recorded, still doing it, and he still is today.
But now, how about the testifying that Dee Dee Sharp just did?
She sang it's gospel. Where did rock and roll come from? And this is what I've said over and over again. I teach this to my kids in school. Without gospel music, there'd be no rock and roll, there'd be no rap, there'd be no metal, there'd be no anything that's out there today.
Herb Cox said to me when I first interviewed Herbie, our friend Herb Cox said, comes from this little light of mine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
What happened was the gospel music gave people a way to express more than just the words and the melody. See, that's what pop music was prior to rock and roll. It was words and melody alone. Gospel music gave it to, I hate to be tacky, it gave it soul.
Soul, yeah.
And that is the big difference. That's when the change occurred and suddenly people realized there was something more to vocalizing than just words and melody. And I know Henry DeLuca doesn't like Jimmy Clanton. But
and I can't figure out why is that, Henry?
Jimmy Clanton.
Henry, why is that? Jimmy's got some soul. He's got the just a dream, just a dream.
Jimmy Clanton came out of the swamp tradition, New Orleans. There was a depth there that was not the Frankie Avalon turn me loose with Fabian kind of thing. And to watch all of these people on this tape, I'm thrilled to see them supporting each other.
Yeah.
We've got guys from every we've got Moody Blues. You got a Moody Blues guy. How he got in there, I'll never know. He's not out of Nashville. But he obviously is enjoying the music. And to see Maurice Williams playing the piano for Dave Somerville of the Diamonds, and Dave Somerville saying, author, and he says, get him up.
That's the first time.
Show him. He's the guy who created it.
That's the first time I think
Even
it
if
was
you don't like it, it still was the beginning of a very
I
important
didn't say I didn't like it. I just said that the Diamonds did a better version.
Diamonds did do a better version
That's
of Little
right.
Darling.
Flip Little Darling Over, by the way, is a great song on the backside, but we'll talk about that another time.
No, wait a second. Now let's not forget the Diamonds' great version of Walking Alone. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. All right.
Which is better than the Solitaires?
I will never speak to either one of you again. But anyway, this is a tape that is really historic.
No, it really is good. It's got some great
And I
memories.
want people to call that number,
412-150 your pledge of support.
5808.
And we will send you, how about some of these songs, Charlie? More Today Than Yesterday. Great song, Pat Upton. Like we call that the sound of Philadelphia. It really is. Pat Upton with the Spiral Staircase, original lead singer there. My Heart Is an Open Book. I like that song. Carl Dobkins Jr. Ray Peterson, The Wonder of You. You know what? It's not too bad.
It's all right.
Len
Ray
Barry, a
Peterson.
lot of soul there. Big. Did you know that Len Barry did a version of What I Love You?
No.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't know. Well, Len Barry's still a pretty good performer today.
Very soulful.
He was in Pittsburgh not many years ago, actually.
Dee Dee's version of Stand By Me is on here, down in the Boondocks. I mean, that's some of the
Well, did we
poppy
mention
stuff.
Otis Williams on that Hearts of Stone?
Oh.
He sounds good.
Was he great?
He sounds really good. Where are you going to get Otis Williams on a videotape
You're not.
anywhere else in the world?
And you know what? We brought you the Roots of Rock and Roll show last year where we had Frankie Ford and we had the Coasters,
Right.
but we couldn't bring you a video of that. We couldn't bring you the sound quality that's on this tape, and that's what's great. I got to admit, and I bust on Henry DeLuca a lot because he always brings certain performers into town, and one of those performers...
Because they sell big in Pittsburgh.
One of those performers is Frankie Ford. Henry knows why I kid him about Frankie Ford, but Frankie Ford busts into this Ferlin Husky song.
Gone. But it was good.
I gotta say, it was great, and I'll admit it, I went to Fred Bond's place and I bought Ferlin Husky immediately.
Well, it's Henry's idol, Ferlin Husky. I don't know if you're aware
Well,
of that.
you know,
Henry, Pure Gold will be doing their a cappella version of Gone on the next album. We're very excited.
Henry has an altar with 7 candles there for Ferlin
That's
Husky.
right.
It's right in it. I've seen it.
F-E-R-L-I-N-H-U-S-K-Y.
In his closet. I've seen that. Yeah.
I went right to the attic in Millvale.
Henry gets a Christmas card from Ferlin Husky. It's right on the front of the mantle. To Hank, love Ferlin.
and Lou Christie. And Eddie Jones. There's a couple.
And Dodie Stevens.
He does not get a Christmas card from Dodie Stevens,
Well, he should.
I'm sure of
Okay,
that.
but
He should.
anyway, we
But
digress.
this tape really is
$150.
worth having.
But it's
without
not
any
one
question.
tape. It is 5 tapes.
It's 5.
Tons of stories.
I got 3 of them.
Tons of stories.
I'm putting them on the
Great performances. How about some of those great memories too? I mean, you saw some things on this tape.
They talk about the bus tours, the Dick Clark bus tours, what it was like in those days. Len Barry worked with James Brown for 162 days. The Dobells apparently were the opening act. He tells a wonderful. Len Barry's a funny guy. Len Barry can still sing, as you just got finished saying. Really kicks some butt with 1, 2, 3.
What you're saying is something else that's important about this. It's not necessarily just the music.
Oh, the anecdotal stuff, if you're into that, which I am, is great.
I think also to realize that these people gave up their lives in some ways to make the music that we all love. I mean, there are many stories in here that are kind of tragic
Just
stories.
as you and I are giving up our life tonight.
We don't give up nearly as much. Those one-night stands. We're not dying. The phones aren't
The
ringing.
phones are
We're out
quiet.
there. We got to get the phones ringing.
You know what's scaring me though, because we have to talk about why we do this. And I
Why
think
do we do it? Tell 'em.
I think it's important that you understand something. People tend to think. I get calls sometimes from viewers, from members, from viewers that haven't become members, and they say, you don't need my money. You folks at QED made $200,000 when you ran that first doo-wop show. Well, that's true. Pledge-wise, we did pledge $120,000 the first time we played the show. But you got to figure, of that $120,000, people promised to pledge, didn't always fulfill their pledge. So now you're down to around $80,000. Then you got to figure, on top of that, that the box sets that we gave away aren't free to us. We got to pay for those. So if a pledge was $200, you got to figure almost half of that went to the box set. So that's $100. The publishing, the music. So Now all of a sudden you're going from 80,000 to 40,000. And then you got to talk about production. And then you got to talk about musical rights and clearances, because the artists, the groups, the publishers, they all got to get paid. We're not a profit business. We're not for profit. We're non-commercial. We need your dollars if we're going to do more of this. We're not rolling in dough here at QED, and it's just it's a godsend to be in a town like this with people like you who have supported this music so much. But without your help tonight, without the $20 pledge, without the $40 pledge, without the $150 pledge, and of course, as our thank you, we'll send you the 5 VHS, we can't do more of it. Now, I got to tell you, this Doo-Wop 50 show has taken over the country. It is the #1 fundraising show of all time, anywhere. Right here, the one we shot in the Benedict, and we're getting ready to do a Doo-Wop 51, but it's going to be dollars from you with the dollars from PBS that's going to allow us to do this. We need to hear from you now.
Where else could you hear Ella Fitzgerald and Jewel Aiken on the same night? That's what public broadcasting is all about, variety. You're not going to like everything, to be sure. I'm not a big fan of the 3 baritones from Ireland or whatever they're from, but the 3 tenors, the guys from South Dakota, Julio Iglesias and those other 2 guys. Who are those guys again? Not Julio Iglesias.
Domingo,
him too,
yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, they're from Southern Louisiana. Used to sing with Huey Smith and the Cross. Where else are you going to get that? Where else are you going to get this thing that Rick Burns did on New York? That documentary on New York, the thing on the Italian Americans, this Ella Fitzgerald thing tonight. I mean,
the things
this
that are
is
still
it,
around,
kids.
the one, the Rick Sebak thing.
Rick Sebak shows are incredible, Chris Fenimore shows, and our shows. I mean, we are the only ones in the country doing this. Nobody's doing this, and you know, I tried to get footage. Another thing, you know, people criticize me a lot, and they say, well, how come you're not doing more local shows? Why don't you, you know, we've got Pork, we've got Sock, we've got 20 other groups in town. Why aren't you there each and every week doing a show? Well, where's the money going to come from to do that?
Costs
We got to pay. We got to
right?
pay the camera crew. We got to pay the production. We got to pay the musical rights. That's not free. We don't have commercials. At least on Doug's gig and Charlie's gig, you guys got sponsors. And on my gig outside of here at the other radio station, they've got commercial sponsors to pay for that. It's not like that here. And we're not trying to bash you on the head. I know it's the holiday time, and you know, $150 might be tough to stretch right now.
Not only that, but the premium might be a great Christmas gift or Hanukkah gift or Kwanzaa gift, something to give somebody for a present. Be great.
Very quickly, we want to tell you about the CD. Yours for a pledge of support of $100. Now, this is a 2 CD set, and it's got some great stuff on here. This compact disc is great. You put them all together, you get a combination of 200, by the way, with the 5-tape set and the 2 CDs. But things like Stay by Maurice Williams is on here. Dave Somerville's version of Little Darling with Maurice playing piano is on here. Frankie Ford doing Gone, great song. DeLuca's Choice is on there. 621-5808, 1-800-232-8813. We've got a little piece of tape which is going to show you some of the extra bonus cuts that are not in the broadcast tonight, but they are in the home video, and we are counting on you right now to go to the phones and make your pledge of support. Take a look at this.
The music of the 50s and 60s.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, Peggy, hit my Peggy Sue. Since you gotta go, oh, you better go now. Go now, go now. I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning like a whirlpool, it never ends. I love you more today than yesterday. Just a dream, just a dream. All our plans and all our schemes.
Love letter straight from your
Patches, oh, what can I do?
Got a head, your hair, and a piece of bone that made a walking, talking honeycomb.
This time we're really breaking up.
Johnny get angry, Johnny get mad.
Look
My heart is an open book. Tequila!
Some of the greatest classic rock songs of all time.
Apple peaches, pumpkin pie. Who's not ready, holler. Little GTO, you're really looking fine.
I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning. Oh, baby, rock and roll is here to stay, and it will never die. Yes, it was meant to be that way, though I don't know why.
You sang along with each song. Now you can relive those moments anytime you wish.
Bum, 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 bum. All the chapel bells were ringing.
Carl Gardner of the Coasters.
Young blood. Oh, young blood.
Dave Somerville of the Diamonds.
To the dollar.
Frankie Ford.
Since you've gone, the sailor moon.
What you haven't heard or seen tonight is the amazing love these folks have for each other. Some hadn't seen each other in 20 or 30 years, so what we have not been able to show you tonight was all the love in this room. The emotional stories of the tours, the bus rides, backstage antics. Stories that are rich with rock and roll history and show a side of the classic rock era that you always thought existed. But if you lived through this music, if you dated and fell in love while this music played on the car radio, if you cruised the parking lot of the hamburger stand or ever took a drive down Lover's Lane to watch the submarine races, you need these videos. It's like Nedra of the Ronettes said at the top of the show. When I hear these songs, it takes me back to a time when my grandmama was alive, I was young, and I didn't know what was ahead. We're all very lucky. Lucky to have lived during a time when music was born. It's the one music that all generations can enjoy, from young to old. That's why it's called classic rock and roll. If you haven't ordered yet, pick up the phone and call the 800 number.
Great music and some great memories. We hope you're enjoying the presentation tonight. Very important you understand something, Pittsburgh. This did not come from cable television. It didn't come from commercial television. This was something that was done as a very special kind of package just for members of WQED tonight. It aired once on Nashville Network. It was just a one-time only airing, and they're not going to get it back again because the musical rights are so expensive. Before it goes away altogether, we wanted to take this opportunity to allow you to join us as a member, and in return for that, as our thank you, you'll receive the 5-video collection of Rock and Roll Graffiti. We really think it's a special program. I don't think we all love all the artists on the show, but we love some of these great classic performances that are just simply not available anywhere else. Your pledge of support right now for a pledge of $150, and you'll have the 5 VHS set of Rock and Roll Graffiti. Again, it's exclusive to WQED members. You're not going to find it in stores. You're not going to find it tonight, late night, on another cable channel. It is only here on public television. And we need your pledge. Honestly, we do need to hear from you right now. It's 621-5808. 1-800-232-8813. Songs like Rock and Roll is here to stay. The Birds and the Bees, Sugar Shack, Johnny Get Angry, She Shot a Hole in My Soul, Under the Boardwalk, Youngblood, Think, Stormy Monday. There's a little blues jam on here, which is great. More Today Than Yesterday. My Heart is an Open Book. Look, look, my heart is an open book. The Wonder of You, Pink Shoelaces. I'm sorry about that one. That's one of the ones where we think is cute. Nice to see Dodie, but not a great song. But again, it's on here. Along with 1, 2, 3 from Len Barry, Little GTO. It's the latest. It's the greatest. Mashed Potato Time is on here. Stand By Me, Dizzy, Down in the Boondocks. Now, these are just 2 of the 5 tapes. Here's tape 3, Apple Peaches Pumpkin Pie, Just a Dream, Single Girl. There's a medley of That'll Be a Day and Don't Ever Change, Everlasting Love by the guy who wrote it, Buzz Carson. Then You Can Tell Me Goodbye, great version by Gene Hughes. Hearts of Stone, Otis Williams, The Three Bells, The Browns. Again, the old Ferlin Husky song done in style, this time by Frankie Ford with Gone. $200, you can have the compact disc and the 5-video set for your $200 pledge of support by calling 621-5808 or 1-800-232-8813. You're going to see things like Sea Cruise, Stagger Lee is on here, Venus in Blue Jeans, I Know I Love You, Come See About Me, Stop in the Name of Love. Again, $200 your pledge of support, and you can have not just these 5 videos for $150, but put that with the CD, and altogether that's a $200 pledge. When you join us, Mr. Pitiful is on here. I've been loving you too long. Come go with me. Great street corner sound. Good Night, Sweetheart by everybody is on here. What a great way to end the show. Yours for a pledge of support. Tequila, Stay, Little Darling, This Time, Go Now, Stormy, Patches, Honeycomb, Blue Light, Love Letters. It's all great stuff. Now this is just a video. I want to read you what's on the compact disc. The compact disc is a 2 CD set. So we're talking about things like Just a Dream, Under the Boardwalk, Then You Can Tell Me Goodbye, Hearts of Stone, The 3 Bells. Nice song. Really is a nice song. $100 when you join us right now. Okay, phones are silent. I'd like you to take a look behind me right now before we show you the next piece of tape. And you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 open phones right now. Now that's a real clear message to us that tells you that tells us that you don't think this program is worthy of our air. I hope we're wrong about that, because we made a lot of special arrangements to bring you this. We wanted you to be able to have this videotape and to support the station. When you support us as a member, we're able to bring you more programming like this, more Roy Orbison, more Bobby Darin, more great shows and specials, more doo-wop and more local doo-wop. That's what it's all about here tonight. We've got Charlie Apple, Doug Hearth, the great Doug Hearth standing by, and we're going to talk to them more about the music, as right now we're going to show you what we call the Henry DeLuca favorite choice right now. We're going to show you a Henry DeLuca pick. This is a classic rearrangement of an old Ferlin Husky song by Frankie Ford. We'll leave the phone number up. We'll show you the thank you gifts while this guy's singing. Please join us. We only have a few more minutes in this break. We need to hear from you right now. Come on, Pittsburgh. Do the right thing. Give us a call, 621-5808. Frankie Ford and Gone.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Since you've gone, the sun, the moon, the stars in the sky know the reason why I cry. Love divine once was mine. Now you go. Since you've gone, my heart, my lips, my tear-dimmed eyes, the lonely soul within me cries. I acted smart, broke your heart. Now you go on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, thank you for the lifetime I've wasted, for the love I had tasted. I was wrong. Now you go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, thank you for the lifetime I had wasted, for the love I had tasted. I was wrong. Now you go. Wrong. Now you go on. Now you go on. Since you've
All right.
Doug is not applauding for Gone.
Henry DeLuca was right.
Henry DeLuca came down here tonight just to
Hear
just
that
to be able to
song.
hear that song in person and made a pledge. How many dollars was that?
Yeah, how much, Henry? Come on, how much?
He sings the daylights out of all
Oh,
kinds of sound. He really
not
does.
only just sings it, he sells it. I mean, the man is a real professional entertainer of the highest order. And the thing about it is, this is originally a country and western song. He gives it again that swamp music flavor so that it has rhythm and blues to it. You got these 5 fantastic tapes, folks, and these are what you want to get. These tapes have a history on it you will not find anywhere else. You will know more about what it was like to live in those days, to work in those days on those bus tours, to go around the country, to go on the one-night stands. The lives that they led were hard and rough, and they entertained us. They gave up lots to make us happy, and you'll see all their stories right here on these tapes, and the pledge for these 5 tapes is $150. Call right now, 1-800-232-8813, 412-621-5808. This is CA letting you know, I happen to think this is a really great premium. I'd like you to get on the phone and give it a call right now. You'll enjoy watching the interaction, the support, the real mutual respect, and that was the thing that really impressed me.
Love.
The love.
I've never seen so many tears of joy, of sorrow. Katie Lester's face, Doug. Come on. I mean, that's just.
I agree.
You know, I mean, yeah, you don't see many moments like that. There was something special about this show. I still can't. How do you put your finger on this thing? I just.
Well, I'll tell you what. When you called me and asked me, and you said what it was, I thought, is he kidding? I mean, I really did. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought, is he kidding? I mean, I play Bo Diddley, right?
Yeah.
And we've got, but after watching the stuff that goes on here, this is history. It's real history, and it may not be all music that everyone in the Pittsburgh audience.
I don't think we're kidding about the fact
No.
that I mean, the 3 of us are not real big fans of Tommy Rowe. Is that fair to
That's
say?
right.
Speak for yourself. I love Tommy.
Actually, I do like one Tommy Rowe record. It's called Caveman on Judd Records. It's
Dizzy.
great.
Dizzy by Tommy Rowe. Dizzy.
Jam up.
I love that.
Jelly tight.
Yeah, he does. He does do a great version of Carol. One of the best versions of Carol, Philadelphia version of
But
Carol.
the history.
Oop, bop, bop, up. Hey, hey, Carol.
You see, I really don't want him to sing. I heard Doug sing. That was
Get the
enough.
gun. Where's Gigi in the dance? Get the gun.
But the history in this is amazing. It is fantastic. Listening to the support, listening to the love, listening to them just get up. It's like going to your living room and having all these old rock stars come in and sit down and entertain. And I'll tell you what, I enjoy it.
Now,
I really enjoy
Doug
it.
Hearth, let me ask Doug Hearth a question here, because I really do mean this. I love the fact that Doug is here. Listen to Doug's show driving home every day on, let's see if I can ever get through that exchange at 333-1360.
As opposed to
Always-
621-5808.
It's always busy, that phone line, and because there's so many things you talk about all the time, Doug, that I just want to call in and react to, whether it's girls from Marlboro or just your general feelings about things that are old that deserve to be preserved. It's the one thing I love about Doug Hearth's show is that, like, I could call you, we could talk about Lottie Lenya, and you'd have a story, you know, or we could talk about a record that was a big hit in the 70s, or we could talk about a serious topic, but there's something about your show and what you do that keeps old things fresh and alive.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Schultz today. I mean, there's something about keeping these things that are old alive and available for people, and that's kind of what we do on TV here. But I mean, what are your feelings about all this?
Well, first of all, just to go back to the tapes, okay, we're talking music that's 35, 40 years old. That these people are still walking, that they're still talking, that they still have a fairly bright outlook on things despite some of the junk that has happened to them down through the years. To find out what happened to these people. Jimmy Gilmore is a music executive, okay, record executive.
And he should be. He should be.
And I love Sugar Shack, but what I want to tell you.
I just love your taste in music.
You bring... You're bringing this music back to life. You may not want it to be brought back to life, Charlie, in your case.
I agree. No, I agree with you. I have no disagreement with that because it's part of Americana, and you know, in this culture we throw everything away when it's 5 years old. I mean, look at radio today. We throw it all away, and there's no need to do that. I got a confession. I have never told anybody this before. I'm going to tell you now. I love R&B more than anything else in the world. I love doo-wop more than anything else in the world. I prefer calling it vocal group harmony. But every so often, I get out some of my pop music and play it because there are memories associated with that too.
You like
And
the
I
Browns,
enjoy it.
don't you? You secretly listen to the
When
Browns.
I bought that on RCA Victor and I played it, I was what, 14 years old? I got tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of that.
Oh, when you bought I Saw Linda Yesterday by Dickie Lee.
That one I didn't get tears in my eyes, but I did on the
Well, that's got a little runaround suit beat going to that. I
big
like
time.
that tune. That's a good tune.
And I think history's important.
We never got to that Please Mr. Postman mashed potato.
Yeah.
What's that Boyce and Hart thing? It sounds just like that. Their first song, I got a girl, got a girl, got a girl, the Carol.
I was never
that
into
was
Boyce and
that
Hart,
was
I
their
have to
first.
Even I'm not into
well,
Boyce
no,
and
it was
Hart.
that.
No, a lot
It had
of the
that
songs.
same kind of feel. Anyway, it had the
Henry
same
Boyce
kind
and
of
Hart,
feel.
you're on that.
Yeah, that's
Henry,
your-
that's what you're getting them in, right? Yeah, in the next show.
Yeah,
no, but the mashed potato, the Dee Dee Sharp thing, the mashed
By the
potato
way,
thing.
if you get them both in here, Henry, that'll be the biggest miracle this side of I don't know what. You know that one of them is
One of them-
Pastor.
yes. Well, I saw an ad in the paper 2 years ago. It said Bill Haley and his Comets were coming to a nightclub somewhere in
I
Pittsburgh.
saw Bill Haley and the Comets in 1991 in Ocean City, Maryland. I saw this big sign at a lounge. Bill Haley and the Comets said, I got to see this. The man has been dead since 1982. I've got to see this. And this 18-year-old kid is up there going, back in 55 for Decca, we did this one. It was a big thrill.
Now, the same thing. Tony Williams was in town in South Florida a couple weeks ago. The same kind of miracle.
He's been gone
But that's
a long
kind of Carl Gardner, talked about that. He said, "I'm the real. This ain't the
This
fake,
is the real thing, right?
phony stuff." And that's
the thing.
important. That's original.
And all of these people are original, whether they're pop or R&B, as Carl Gardner is, whether they're Dee Dee Sharp, which was a combination of pop
Gravy,
and
one of the
R&B.
greatest
Great
Philly
song.
grooves. Gravy with the mashed
Well,
potatoes.
her song is in Sister Act. It does one of the greatest bits in Sister Act when they
they
nuns
go in the
into the
jukebox. Yeah, they go in the
play
jukebox and they play
Dee Dee Sharp.
Yeah, and you know what's cool is to see Len Barry. I got to tell you something. I think Doug would. I know. Well, the Parkway Cameo sound was big here in Pittsburgh too.
Hey, both were big here.
But to see Dee Dee Sharp, to see Len Barry, to hear that Philly sound, that's so cool.
Philly sound was big
Because
here.
you can't
There's
get
a
it
lot
on
of Philly
anything.
sound.
They don't reissue it on anything. You can't get that sound anymore.
None of that.
So the only way you get that is to see the guys.
Exactly. But the Cameo Parkway stuff was big here, and particularly the Dovells. The Dovells, Bristol Twist and Annie, Bristol
Great
Stomp.
hand claps in the middle of
Their
that.
version of Out in the Cold Again is a fairly decent song.
Holly
What did the original was that Louis Lyman?
No, it was Frankie Lyman.
Frankie
Lyman. But they do a credible version
Holly
of it.
Gully Babies.
Holly Gully Baby, the Fruit.
Baby work out.
Didn't they do the Fruit? Yeah, they did the Fruit.
Unfortunately, they did that one.
Well, I used to do
All
that.
right, we got 30 seconds here. We want to remind you very quickly, $150, and you'll have the 5 video sets.
What's for 100?
100 is the CD.
CDs for
150 is the 5 video. You put them together, and you save about $50 at the $200 level, and we will send you the compact disc at $200 and the VHS sets. But we do need to hear from you right now. Time's running out. We're going to the final segment of the show right now. We're asking for your pledge of support, 621-5808. 1-800-232-8813. More with Doug Hearth and more with Charlie Apple and more show right now on QED.
How many of you ever performed with Elvis? Elvis.
We started Elvis, let me tell you. He opened for us, and that didn't last long either. But if you're going to talk about Elvis, there's quite a few years here, but these are the beginning years of Elvis. Whenever Elvis was doing what we called country at the time, with That's All Right Mama, although he was kind of crossing over or trying to because people loved him. But when he first started out, the Browns, Maxine and I had already had a couple of hits, and we were working down in South Arkansas and East Texas and all through there. And
Bonnie was still in diapers.
Bonnie was young. She was still in high school at the time. But anyway, Bob Neal, his manager, called and asked if we would do some dates with him, so we did.
Now, this is true. Of course, Elvis stayed at our house a lot because Elvis was broke. Elvis didn't have money to buy, he couldn't even afford bacon and tomato sandwich. He couldn't afford to get his clothes out of the cleaners. And so we worked together a lot, and of course, he and Bonnie fell madly in love. But that didn't last long either because the first thing you know, she walked in and found him with another girl all loved up. But Elvis and his...
I can't understand that.
But anyway, he and the boys broke down in Brinkley, Arkansas, which is just out of Pine Bluff, where we lived, and so they called my daddy and Bonnie. I don't know where I was, but anyway, I was on the road with Jim Ed. That's right. We were working. Yeah. But anyway, Elvis called them to come get them, that they had broken down. So they got up in the middle of the night, went to Brinkley, and took a brand new Pontiac that my daddy had just bought and loaned it to them to make their dates. And 6 weeks later, he brought it back, torn all to pieces.
Well, not really. The front tires were worn out. You know.
Well, dents and scrapes and things like that. But we have some fond memories of Elvis and DJ and Scotty and Bill.
You got a microphone, DJ.
Yeah.
Talk. Get me out of this.
These people are talking about these bus tours.
we didn't have a bus.
Well, we didn't have a bus.
That's right.
We had one car, Scotty, Bill, myself, Red West, or one of his cousins, or somebody, all the instruments in one car. And don't ask me how we did it, but we got in there. And before that, we had to put the bass in the car, and Elvis would sleep under the bass, because he was the boss, you see. And we had to let him rest, because he got tired of it.
One time, when the bass was on top of the car,
Yeah,
and the 51 Lincoln it
Yeah,
was,
he-
and it caught on fire.
Yeah, he
and
finally-
Bill Black went, my bass is on fire.
But he finally spent a little money. He built this little rack on top of the car, and then we threw a lot of stuff up there. But before that, everybody piled in one car. And boy, you talk about feet stinking. After about a week of that, whoa, it got rank. It really got rank.
The 51 Lincoln you're talking about is the wreck. Maxine said they broke down. Actually, they had a wreck in Brinkley, and whenever the flatbed pulled out in front of them, and the car went under it, but the bass was up on top, and it just went scooting down the highway. You know.
Well, that was the first
That
tour
bass
I did.
went
That
through
was
an
his
awful
first tour. I did.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then
it didn't hurt
that's
the
when-
bass.
Didn't hurt
I
the
don't know
bass.
what happened.
And didn't hurt them, thank goodness, but the car.
He would put 3 of us in the front seat, because again, he had the rest. And
Was he that way?
well, yeah, he was tired all the time. But he run with any dog with a hunch, you know.
with him, though, didn't he?
Well, now he wouldn't do that in the beginning.
Yes, he
In
did.
the-
Anytime he had a chance.
He never. Well, he told me that he was the nice.
No, we were the nice guys.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it. Oh, okay.
I think
So-
he was one of the closet guys.
Yeah, he was a closet guy.
Would the Browns sing a song for us?
We kind of back into to the rock and roll feel. Actually, our little song was the first song ever to be #1 in the pop and the rock and roll and the country feel at the same time. So we felt awfully good about it, and I feel good about being here.
There's a village hidden deep in the valley, among the pine trees half forlorn. And there on a sunny morning, little Jimmy Brown was born. Bum, 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 bum.
All the chapel bells were ringing in the little valley town, and the songs that they were singing was for baby Jimmy Brown. And the little congregation prayed for guidance from above. Lead us not into temptation, bless this hour of meditation, guide him with eternal love.
There's a village hidden deep in the valley, beneath the mountains high above. And there, 20 years thereafter, Jimmy was to meet his love. Bum, 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 bum.
All the chapel bells were ringing. 'Twas a great day in his life, for the songs that they were singing was for Jimmy and his wife. And the little congregation prayed for guidance from above. Lead us not into temptation, bless, O Lord, this celebration. May their lives be filled with love.
From the village hidden deep in the valley,
One rainy morning, dark and gray, a soul winged its way to heaven. Jimmy Brown had passed away. Bum, 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 bum. Just a lonely bell was ringing in the little valley town. 'Twas farewell that it was singing to our good old Jimmy Brown. And the little congregation prayed for guidance from above. Lead us not into temptation, bless our soul, find the salvation of thy great eternal love.
The Browns. Yes, sirree.
Just like riding a bicycle, huh,
Yes,
girls?
sir. Yes, sir. Jim Ed and the Browns. Excellent.
Mary Wilson.
Oh, baby, baby, I'm aware of where you go. Each time you leave my door, I want you to walk down the street, knowing some other girl you're gonna meet. But this time before you leave my door and walk up to her job, think it over. But Nature, that was my part. You can sing, you can sing. Think it over. Yeah, yeah. Come on, y'all. Stop in the name of love before you pray. Oh, think it over, baby. Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Think it over. I just want to do one more verse. Think it over. I've known of you're secluded nights. I've even seen her maybe once or twice. But it's her sweet expression, but with the more that I love and affection. But this time before you leave my arms and walk off to her charms, think it over. Haven't I been good to you, baby? Think it over. Haven't I been sweet to you? Come on, y'all. Stop in the name of love before you break. Oh, think it over, baby. Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Just stop. Sorry, Never. Thank you so much. Hey. Thank you very much.
All right.
Being a background singer, never. We know all about being a background singer, don't we, girlfriend? But we were having fun in the background, weren't we? Let me tell you, I thought I was a star in the background, honey. I was in my head. Couldn't tell me anything.
Oh, that is super.
Gene Hughes.
We recorded this song, and when it came out in '67, people don't believe it was that year because it went back to that 50s sound. Because, like I said, we'd been together many years. It played all the hops and everything. See if you remember the song. Thank you.
Kiss me each morning for a million years. Hold me each evening at your side. Tell me you love me for 1,000,000 years. Then if it don't work out, then if it don't work out, then you can tell me goodbye. Sweeten my coffee with a morning kiss. Soften my dreams with your sighs. Tell me you love me for 1,000,000 years. If it don't work out, if it don't work
is the time when you got real close, you know. This is the time we take a break and go out to the car. What about these girls? Oh, yeah. Do it.
If you must go, no, I won't grieve. If you'll wait a lifetime before you leave.
But if you must go, I won't tell you no. Just so that you can say we tried. Tell me you love me for 1,000,000 years. If it don't work out, if it don't work out, then you can tell me goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night, sweetheart.
This has been a true rock and roll revival. To sit in that room and share their music, what an experience. If you get a chance to see any of these originals in concert, don't miss it. Thanks for joining us, and God bless you.
Wow, and of course, one of the best songs to end a great evening with. Good night, sweetheart, good night. And what an ensemble, what emotion, what memories. And we're asking you right now to join us as a member. This is your last opportunity tonight to be able to have this 5-video collection. If you've been waiting for the last possible moment, this is it. You're on. It's the last possible moment. $150, and you will have not just the songs you saw tonight. Now, this was, I think, maybe 15 songs out of 54 that are on the VHS home video collection. It's 5 tapes, and most importantly, what you're doing is you're not buying videotapes, although you can't find them anywhere else. You're supporting the station that's bringing you the music. TJ Lubinsky with you, along with a guy that I'm just so delighted to be with, Doug Hearth, and I'm just such a pleasure to have you here. Such a sharp-witted guy, and to me, a young guy who grew up listening to talk radio in South Florida, not one of the greatest places in the world for talk radio.
Not one of the bastions of radio talk. You're right.
But to come to Pittsburgh and to hear a guy like you, and I think really the thing that I get out of your show the most, Doug, and it's weekdays. It's Monday through Friday. There's 2 shows we want to talk about. It's the Monday through Friday show, which you do on PTT.
3 to 6, which is a talk show on 1360, and then Sunday night on 1320 WJS with the oldies.
And Sunday night you really get into the oldies
exactly.
on Sunday. But during the week, you're always the kind of you're always throwing back to some era, some time, some story, something that kind of connects us all back from yesterday. Maybe people that should stay locked away for years, but for the most part, I think it's all in fun, and it's also it's about kind of keeping this stuff alive and intelligent conversation too.
Well, we try.
Yeah.
Seinfeld was about nothing. My show is about nothing much, but hopefully we put on an entertaining, nothing much radio show.
Okay, so when I'm with a guy like Doug Hearth, who's from my home area, my home state of New Jersey, and you know, now it's different for you because you grew up with the first generation guys.
Right.
You know Jocko, and you know kind of the original guys when they were first out and first.
Today's
out.
Alan Free's birthday, by the way.
Yeah, my God.
1922 to 1965.
That movie, shame about that movie. But anyway, that's another story.
Please.
But anyway, so you have a guy who was first generation rock and roller who was there while this was going on, maybe just a little younger than you know, the early 50s stuff. I mean, you know, 48, 49, 50.
Oh, that's even before my time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, I mean, but certainly right in there when the stuff
But I was this
started
child who grew up worshiping at the shrine of my little AM radio, listening to Alan Freed on 1010 WINS or Jocko on 1280 WOV with Jocko's Rocket Ship Show.
Take it up another 10,000.
And listening, eat fiddly, ho, this is Jocko, I'm back on the scene with the record machine saying, go Papa Dear, this man was insane. And today just hangs around. He's in Florida.
Yeah, that's right.
And does all these shows down there on occasion, Jocko Henderson. But anyway, yeah, I'm from the mid-50s generation of rock and roll, very small boy, fell in love with the music. To hear Otis Williams do that song so many years later and sounding like he did so many years ago, that knocks my socks off.
Ivory Tower is how I know Otis Williams,
Right.
and to see him do the Hearts of Stone, that was great. But here's my point. Now, I grew up, I'm 26 years old, so I grew up with people like, well, out of Philadelphia, Jerry Blavat, High Lit, Harvey Holiday. I mean, these are all the first and second generation guys. Out of New York, people like Don K. Reed and Norm Knight, of course,
Sure.
Bobby J., who to me is the best, bass man for the teenagers. So, being from that area, we had a lot of influences, and it's such a, I couldn't imagine a greater city in the world that I could have been a part of than Pittsburgh, because I didn't really know much about Pittsburgh before I came here 2 years ago, but to learn so much about the sound, about the stuff that Porky did, about the stuff that Sir Walter did, the stuff that Brother Matt did here, and to see the sound and the music and the original jocks, people like Charlie Apple, who often gets overlooked or doesn't receive the same kind of credit and recognition that Porky does. And we love Porky, and Porky, wasn't for him, we all wouldn't be here today doing what we've been doing. But also to have guys like Charlie Apple here, to have guys like you here, to have the entire radio community come out and support the station, it's like a dream come true, and I thank God for that, and I thank you for that. But I do need your pledge of support right now if we're going to do more nights of this, where we can just sit around and talk about the music. That's the coolest thing about this, is, you know, we're here to raise some money for QED, but we're also here to educate and to kind of share some opinions on a gathering about this. So Charlie Apple's standing over there. He's got some more information for you. And of course, Charlie, when you talk about soul and spirit and love for the music and just a connection, the man who's helping to keep it alive, here to show his support tonight, we're asking that you do the same thing by making a pledge. 621-5808, 1-800-232-8813. Reverend Charles.
Well, as most of you know, when I'm on Music Power 104 on Saturdays, there are a lot of these songs and groups I don't play. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth having these groups. The Three Browns, for example, what an incredible piece of harmony that goes all the way back to tapes dropping on the floor, like one just fell out of here. There are now two Browns. Throw that one away. We'll go to another one. But nonetheless, I told you they hoodwinked me. They had everything booby-trapped. But nonetheless, the Three Browns, the harmony was spectacular. And I'll tell you the truth, Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night, I'd rather have that version than the McGuire Sisters. Those were people who really loved the music. I understand also by rumor that that will be played at the next Roots of Rock and Roll show. Henry DeLuca is going to have it up on a big screen, and everyone's going to join in with the folks from this rock and roll graffiti. And you'll have it first. There are actually 5 tapes, but TJ sabotaged me. You can get these 5 tapes for a $150 pledge. They're fantastic. It's history. Right here in your very, very own living room, you can watch this history, and this is the only place you're going to be able to get these. In fact, this is the only time you're going to be able to get these. You've got to call and get those pledges in, because those pledges, that money, not only gets you these tapes or the CDs or both for $200, but also these get you the chance to help support the kind of nostalgic programming that we all love. the money that comes from this will not just help this kind of show, but the kind of shows that you and I love too. And who knows, maybe Bo Diddley might be in this studio someday. You never know. We'll get Henry DeLuca to work on that too, because he has an in with Bo Diddley. Pays him in cash, $100 bills. My friends, this is when you got to testify. This is history. Every song on here is not something you like, but there's songs on here you do like. There's incredible conversation. There's a sharing of love. There's a community spirit. There's a sense of where rock and roll came from. The black, the white, the pop, the rhythm and blues, the gospel, the folk, the white gospel sound of the Three Browns, the black gospel sound of Dee Dee Sharp. 412-621-5808, 1-800-232-8813. Get these tapes, get the CDs, and get yourself to that phone right now. TJ, take it away.
Charlie Apple. By the way, if you want to hear some great R&B, I mean some really great R&B, you got to check out Charlie's show. So, Charlie, it's Saturdays and Sundays?
Saturdays, 12 noon till 6.
12 to 6.
Sundays, every 4 or 5 weeks, 12 noon till 6.
Oh, yeah, because they've got some specialty programming
Right.
going on. Charlie, Jeff Allen, they do a great job, Music Power 104, and believe me, it's great stuff. Now, we do need to hear from you right now because time is running out. This is our last opportunity, our last break, and it's honestly your last chance to get a hold of these great videotapes. When we talk about the memories that we've shared tonight, I really think this needs to be part of your collection. If you love this music, there's just so much emotion here. There's so many stories here. To be able to know what it was like to be on the road with one of those Alan Freed rock and roll shows, the Dick Clark's Caravan of Stars. That's what you get in these tapes. You get the stories, not just the music. Get a lot of calls from our fans of the Doo-Wop Shop on Friday night here at WQED. People saying, yeah, it's nice that you do the music, but you know, we got the Bruce Dixons out there who are saying you got to tell us the stories behind the music. Now, I saw Doc Dixon the other day. I was having lunch at the Union Grill. Doc Dixon walks in and he says, Little Lubinsky, we love what you're doing, but you got to tell us some stories. You can't just show us this music. We want to hear the stories behind the music on some of these productions. Well, that's exactly what this show does, and we're hoping that with your pledge of support, we can go out and get more of this stuff. I got to tell you, there's not a lot of material out there on this early rock and roll sound, and to be able to have all these guys together, very special moment, and we're counting on you to go to the phone and make a pledge of support. Only Pittsburgh will do it. We love you, Pittsburgh. You have been supporting us for 2 years now. I mean, to think that doo-wops on television started right here, it's taken over the entire country. We want to do more of it, but we've got to hear from you now. 621-5808, 1-800-232-8813. Back with these two great jocks that I'm with.
Well, it was said at one time that I'd hawk anything on TV. But I want you to know something. When I say something, I mean what I said tonight. I really mean it. It's sincere. I mean that these tapes are worth having. They really are. And I think it's the kind of thing that you can look at and enjoy the history of the times, and you can do what Doug does so well, is bring it to life again, which is what you do. You bring it to life in your talk, in the way you talk about it. And this is good grist for the mill, as they say.
Doug, on your Sunday night show, the Oldie Show, where you get into the oldies of JAS, the one thing I love about your show, which is so different from other radio, is that you really you talk about the music and the way you kind of pair and segue songs. I've never heard anything like that, where it's really as if, it's almost as if it's the way the music was played. It's not even your personal tastes, I don't think, so much. It's more like if I could go back in time and listen to WABC or something, or some of those New York stations, it really seems to me presented to me as though it was music.
Well,
the
I
way
get
it
the
was
best
played.
of both worlds. I get to talk my socks off 5 days a week. And then Sunday night I get to listen and play the music that I grew up with, the music that I love. During the course of the week on WJS, you hear a lot of Four Lads music, Charlie's favorite.
Which is good, it's good.
Nothing the matter with the Four Lads, right?
Four Lads, but they're not my favorite.
If they'll call 621-5808, we'll love you even more.
Right.
Contribute to us, we'll give you an hour on JAS. That's how desperate we
The
are.
Four Lads had a great gospel tune on OK Records called The Mockingbird, which is a spectacular song. I played it on my show. There's nothing wrong with the Four Lads.
My favorite group, the Four Skins. No, I'm sorry, it's another show. Forget it.
He's always got to bring religion into it. He always has to bring religion into it.
Anyway, getting back to
We could go on with this all night and we'd be off the air quick.
Getting back to this great show that we're watching, we've got a little clip we want to show you. This is the last time of some extra performances we could not bring you in tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look at this videotape. Then we're going to come back to you just for about 3 more minutes, our last opportunity to talk to you tonight, and your last chance. Frankly, you're not going to find these tapes in any store. It's not going to be on any other channel tonight.
No Amazon.com.
No Amazon. We did the deal so that we could give you the opportunity to get a hold of this stuff. Now, we know it's the holiday time, money's tight, it's late at night, we understand all that. But we are hoping right now that you'll take whatever you can and just give us a call and let us know that you love what we're doing, because the more you support us, the more we will bring you. Take a look at this extra footage when you make a pledge.
The music of the 50s and 60s.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, Peggy, and my Peggy Sue. Since you gotta go, oh, you better go now. Go now, go now. I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning like a whirlpool, it never ends. I love you more today than yesterday. Just a dream, just a dream. All our plans and all our schemes.
Love letter straight from your
Patches, oh, what can I do?
Got a head, your hair, and a piece of bone that made a walking, talking honeycomb.
This time we're really breaking up.
Johnny get angry, Johnny get mad.
Look, look, my heart is an open book.
Tequila!
Some of the greatest classic rock songs of all time.
Apple peaches, pumpkin pie. Who's not ready to holler?
Little GTO, you're really looking fine. I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning. Oh, baby, rock and roll is here to stay, and it will never die. Yes, it was meant to be that way, though I don't know why.
You sang along with each song. Now you can relive those moments anytime you wish.
Bum, 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 bum. All the chapel bells were ringing.
Carl Gardner of the Coasters.
Young blood. Oh, young blood.
Dave Somerville of the Diamonds.
To the dollar. To the dollar.
Frankie Ford.
Since you've gone, let's say the moon.
What you haven't heard or seen tonight is the amazing love these folks have for each other. Some hadn't seen each other in 20 or 30 years, so what we have not been able to show you tonight was all the love in this room. The emotional stories of the tours, the bus rides, backstage antics. Stories that are rich with rock and roll history and show a side of the classic rock era that you always thought existed. But if you lived through this music, if you dated and fell in love while this music played on the car radio, if you cruised the parking lot of the hamburger stand or ever took a drive down Lover's Lane to watch the submarine races, you need these videos. It's like Nedra of the Ronettes said at the top of the show. When I hear these songs, it takes me back to a time when my grandmama was alive, I was young, and I didn't know what was ahead. We're all very lucky. Lucky to have lived during a time when music was born. It's the one music that all generations can enjoy, from young to old. That's why it's called classic rock and roll. If you haven't ordered yet, pick up the phone and call the 800 number.
Now truly is your last chance to support us. We've got about 5 minutes remaining, and that's it. Rock and Roll Graffiti is gone from your screens. We were only able to bring it to you tonight because of special arrangements with the producer. And, you know, again, the Berg, you talk about Pittsburgh, you talk about the Pittsburgh sound, you talk about people like Porky Chedwick and Sir Walter and Brother Matt and Charlie Apple and, of course, Doug Hearth, part of the scene.
And Inflammable Dan and the Igniters.
Oh, yes, from one of your former
I had a
students who
complaint
called.
from one of my former students, Doug Malone, said, why isn't Inflammable Dan on this? And that's a good question, but we'll deal with that later.
And we have to thank all of our partners at 3WS continually showing support for us, and you know, everybody there just does such a great job at you know, keeping the signal alive for the masses. But right now we need you. It's one voice makes it possible for us to do more of this. So maybe you can't afford $200, maybe you can't afford $100, maybe you can afford $10 or $20 or $30, but the fact is you got to pick up the phone and show us some love. One last time, we want to tell you what's on those videotapes. 5 VHS tapes, yours for a pledge of support of $150, and some of the great music on there.
There you go.
I'm going to let these guys tell you what's on it.
Here's one for you. Here's one for me. Well, I'm going to mention, well, Rock and Roll is Here to Stay with Joe Terry of Danny and the Juniors. I love that song. That's a great song. Birds and the Bees by Jewel Akins. He doesn't like Doug, but I enjoy it.
I don't like that one.
I know you don't. I enjoy it. She Shot a Hole in My Soul by Clifford Curry is a darn good soul song.
That I like.
Darn good soul song. Go ahead, Doug. Give us a couple more.
Stay, Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs, Little Darling, Dave Somerville with Maurice Williams. This time we're really breaking up. Troy Shondell. Go Now, Denny Lane, The Moody Blues, later with Wings. Stormy, Dennis Jostin, the Classics, 4 Patches, one of your favorites, Sticky Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what? You were mentioning this Carl Gardner song. You know, Carl is still recording Stormy Monday.
Sings the heck out of it.
He sings the heck out of that. It's a great blues song that Carl Gardner does a marvelous job
Then
on.
You Can Tell Me Goodbye, Gene Hughes is on here, and, you know, great song, Everlasting Love. The guy who actually wrote the song, Buzz Carson.
Is that who wrote the song, Buzz Carson?
Wrote the song.
Well, you know, Mary Wilson does a very soulful version of the Supreme songs there.
Yeah, my God, you know, we should talk about that. I mean, I am the Motown guy, I guess, and we should talk about the fact
Barry made them less soulful.
Yeah, but well, because, you know, I mean, everybody knows he was going for that whole pop
Oh,
thing. He
sure,
wanted to get him into the nightclubs, the Copacabana, and things like that. But when you talk about people like
Doug's can of pop.
Mary Wilson.
You had to tell, you big mouth.
You talk about Mary Wilson, and you talk about that Motown sound, and to see one of the Supremes, I mean, I'm not sure, there's been a lot of rumors that they're going to reunite, and this time it looks like it might actually happen. But to see Mary in her own voice, kind of hearing her own stories.
But doing it with the real Detroit soul sound that they started with.
And being through all the stuff she's been through. God knows she's had some personal tragedies with her son and everything. And that's the thing that amazed me about this show is all these people have been through just tons and tons of just bad stuff, but yet they're still around doing it. And this is your last chance to own a piece of it by calling us as a member, 621-5808, 1-800-232-8813. 5 videotapes, $200, you get the whole thing.
You will not get these anywhere else. Nowhere else.
That's right, but you got to call us right now as a member. All right, well, it is time for us to say goodnight, sweetheart.
Good night.
It's time to go.
Come on, Doug. You did sing earlier tonight.
Only if you do the McGuire sisters.
Oh, the McGuire sisters.
No, I'll do this part for you.
Good night, sweetheart, 'cause it's time to go.
This is why we do this.
This is why we talk and we don't sing, right?
JP, get the gong. By the way, Vito Pacone, right, in Goodfellas? Another great, one of my favorite. Your favorite movie, right?
Vito Pacone is the Vito with the bar.
Got to get the papers, get the papers.
Well, you got the harp tones in there, the moon glows in there. I love it.
No, but the real Vito Pacone is in the movie.
Oh, the real Vito
He's at the
Pacone
bar,
is
the
in
bat
Vito.
scene.
Vito.
Hey, Vito. That's I'll tell you who else is in it.
I
Vito
didn't
from
know.
Vito and the Salutations is a member of Henry's 70s crew. As many times I've seen that movie, I still haven't been able to find Vito Pacone, but he is in the film.
I heard he got cut out of that or something.
No, I only know
It's
he's
time
in
for
the
us to
credits.
go? Oh, we got 45 seconds.
Good night.
He's in the credits.
He is.
I guarantee he's in the credits.
Time to go. Good night.
Call us right now. This is your last chance to get the CD. And by the way, the CD's got some great music on here. Frankie Ford's version of Gone, and just some great things. Sea Cruise, Venus and Blue Jeans. I do like that one. Charlie thinks it's a little poppy. I like that one. Yours for a pledge of support of $100. Your last chance to call right now. 15 seconds remaining and say thanks, QED. We got more coming your way this year, we promise, with your pledges of support.
And thanks to
Charlie
you,
Apple, thank
TJ,
you. No, no,
because
no,
you've
no,
done
no,
a great
no,
deal to
no,
bring
I'm
this
here
about.
because of those calls of support. And Doug
you've done a
Hearth,
lot of work.
thank you. This has been great. Thank
Great
you.
guy.
All right?
Take care.
The following is a special Members' Choice rebroadcast of Pledge Favorites. To make your pledge, call 621-5808.
Which bag seals tighter, Glad or the Ziploc slider bag?
My Ziploc slider is tripping. Wait a minute.
My Glad is double locked. The double lock green seal, only Glad has it.
Can I borrow a cup of water?
Don't get mad, get Glad.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. New Healthy Woman from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes in a natural way. New Healthy Woman.
If you run your own business, you can get a free trial version of QuickBooks from the makers of Quicken. Stay tuned.
That one of your new designs?
And that's QuickBooks, my accounting software. I'm using it to write checks for paying bills, even prints them out. I can see who owes me money or how much I made. I even created an invoice using my own logo.
Can it help track their time?
Time tracking and estimating is easy with QuickBooks Pro.
Okay, bring on the free trial.
Call for your free trial. You've got nothing to lose.
Call 1-800-847-7200.
Tonight on Biography, he suffered abuse, heartbreak, and hearing loss, but the symphonies kept playing in his head. Beethoven was possessed. His mood swings and temper were legendary, but it's the fury of his music that lives forever. Ludwig von Beethoven, only on Biography. Tonight at 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific on A&E.
Every minute of every day, someone buys a Clopay garage door, like the Sussmans of Stevens Point, Wisconsin, Joe Dobus of Fort Lauderdale, and the Gropp family of Zebulon, North Carolina. Naturally, we like the next one to be yours. Beautiful, durable, reliable. Clopay, America's favorite garage doors.
Get 90 days same as cash at Thomas V. Giel Garage Doors, where they promise with Thomas you'll get the best Giel in town.
FYI, pretending to run around to be Pittsburgh's #1 advertising team. FYI, our crews drive unnecessarily fast to make sure they're first on the scene to bring you the ads as they happen. FYI's Adcopter 2000 is really neat and flies around to bring you closer to the businesses behind the ads. Tonight on FYI, what local business wants your money in exchange for something you really need? FYI, dependable, accurate, fair. Advertising you can count on.
You're watching A&E. Escape the ordinary. Sleigh bells ring, children sing. When A&E rings in, a very special presentation. Keith Lockhart conducts the Boston Pops and drums up a Yuletide celebration with special guests Aaron Neville and Conan O'Brien. So have a cup of cheer to the tune of all your holiday favorites. Holiday at Pops, tonight at 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific on A&E.